Welcome back to Canadian Justice, where we're discussing the Government of Canada's commitment to bring refugees here from Afghanistan and the story of Saeeq Shajjan and an Afghan lawyer who's trying to bring his colleagues to Canada. Now, Artie, how does the Government of Canada decide which applicants from Afghanistan they will grant refugee status to? As you said, there's a lot of people who have applied. How do they make the determination?
So initially, when the program was first announced, the criteria was those Afghans that have a significant and enduring relationship with the Government of Canada. I mean, obviously, that's very broad and general. As time has gone on, we've heard from the ministry that there is a first in, first out vetting of applicants. But frankly, it's still a bit of a black box for us, and it's a bit of a black box for other members of government. People aren't entirely sure. There does seem to be some preference given to interpreters and individuals that perhaps have worked directly with the government, with the embassies there. But we're not entirely sure.
I mean, that should mean that Saeeq's colleagues would fall into that box, though, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I think as Saeeq mentioned, they've been working on behalf of the embassy there for almost 7 years. They're very well known, both in public there and in local courts. So you think that that's a relationship, the legal retainer that they've had would give them priority, particularly given the risk and the risk of reprisal by the Taliban for his colleagues that are still there.
Now, Saeeq, I want to ask about not just your colleagues, but about, there's a lot of people who have been displaced. Do you have a sense of how many people are displaced in the country right now? How many people are actively trying to leave? And if Canada isn't one of their options, where else could they go?
Well, it's a very difficult situation, right? People have displaced internally quite a lot. That there is no numbers of that, right? And I'm sure we won't have that in any near future. Beside that, we have a specific numbers that people were able to get out of Afghanistan during that air bridge that we had in Afghanistan, right, to different countries, including Canada. I think we had like around 3,000 coming to Canada during that air bridge, and likewise thousands and thousands went to the States. But a huge number of people, thousands of them, they went to Pakistan, right? Now they're again in a very difficult situation. A lot of them, they went on visas, their visas expired, and they cannot return back because they find themselves in danger. Similarly, there are thousands of people in UAE and Qatar and Albania and Greece. They're waiting to find a final destination. So it really depends upon who you were working with, which country you had that working relationship with, and where you really expect yourself to go and get out of Afghanistan.
Now, for Saeeq, for the people who have arrived in Canada, for the people who have made it here from Afghanistan, are there community supports? Are there government supports? What exists to help them start their new life in Canada once they arrive?
Well, in that sense, I think the Canadian government and Canadian people, they've been very generous. They've been very welcoming, right? Honestly, the love that I saw from people of Canada, that was impressive. We are all thankful. And a lot of people would tell us that you're lucky that you made it to Canada. Elsewhere, it would have been difficult. And especially the situation that these people are getting out of Afghanistan. So we are not talking about the routine immigration that you're planning for months and months, and then you're getting out of the country. So a lot of these people, they got out of Afghanistan with just one backpack, right? At most, they had one change of clothes. It's not an easy situation. And when we came in, so initially we were in hotels for several weeks. In certain cases, people were in hotels for months and months, right? And then you receive some sort of support from the government, which obviously is not really good enough. So you have to get out and start working as soon as you can. But the good thing is that at least there is some sort of support available from the government. And there has been so many different volunteers from Canadian societies that they were trying to help by whatever means that they were able. They would visit hotels in different places, and they would try to engage with recently arrived, or we would call them new Canadians, right? To make sure that they find whatever they're in need of.
Well, I'm happy to hear that it's been a welcoming experience for so many people. Certainly, you and your colleagues did a lot to help Canada when you were in Afghanistan. So I'm happy that people are being kind and welcoming to you now that you're here.